Welcome to Isometric Muscle and Body Balancing. I'm the office manager and my wife, Jill, is the practitioner. I believe that Jill is one of the top medical massage therapists in the country. I have seen her help very serious conditions from people who have had problems for decades and have told us horror stories from other professionals. I am also incredibly amazed at the wide variety of conditions that she has been capable of helping. And to these people, these treatments are simply life-changing. By all means, if you would like to take a look at her testimonies, feel free to browse our website. Now, here's my interview with Jill. Jill, could you tell us about your background?
Well, I've been in the medical field for most of my life. I worked in a busy rehab physical therapy unit for 6 years. In the meantime of working in there as an aide, I fractured my arm in a hiking accident, which left me paralyzed on my right arm, kind of my right side. So I had shopped around. I went to lots of different doctors, and I've gone to lots of different rehab places, and I was still paralyzed, and I had RSD pain really bad. And I found this retired massage therapist who had her own school for 50 years, and she really learned what worked and what didn't, and she only taught and applied what would help people neurologically be able to get better. And so I would see people come in that would be crippled up, and they would leave being able to walk. And one treatment, she had me moving my arm, and it did take about 8 months to a year to really get rid of the pain, but I was able to use my arm almost instantly. And so that impressed me so much, I asked if she would teach me how to do this technique.
Well, that sounds wonderful. You know, that's a very serious injury that took place, and certainly for that to happen, for you to benefit from it. Now, have you been able to help others to benefit from serious conditions?
Yes, over the years that I have done this, which is about 15, anybody with sports injuries, car accidents, people that just want to get tuned. They have a job where they're constantly, repetitively doing the things over and over again. Then this helps put it tells the brain to reboot itself to its nerve muscle issues. So I don't really think there's anybody that this would not help.
I know you have on your website just a whole bunch of different conditions that you can help. The viewers, if they want to take a look at that, they might have a category that they could really get some help in. And I understand that you're so good at what you do that you work yourself out of business. And I know you train them to strengthen those weak muscles that may be there and so forth, and really get their body balanced out. But can you help people to save money from this?
I've had people come to me that has gone through 6 months of different types of treatment, or even massage therapy they've got every week, and they've come to me, and within one treatment they can't believe how much better they are. And usually within about a month, 4 to 6 treatments, then I put them on a maintenance program, and that maintenance program could be once every 3 months, once every 6 months. I've had people go all the way up to a year before they said I needed to come in and get treatment. So it depends on the condition. If somebody has really bad fibromyalgia, it may take a few more, or if they have a really bad neurological problem, it's going to take more treatments. But for the average person, they see it almost instantly. And then what I do is I give them homework. So they come in, I treat them, and I find out what's going on, which muscles are too tight, which muscles are too loose. And then we give them stretches to do so that they can learn to take care of themselves, so they don't have to come and see me.
All right, very good. Let's talk about auto accidents. What if someone has been in an auto accident? Is this covered by insurance?
Yes, it is. Provided they still have coverage on their insurance from the car accident, yes, it is. And insurance companies really like it also, because the average is about 8 treatments, sometimes 10. For just a regular car accident where they don't have too many injuries, but all their muscles tightened up and locked up and gone into spasm. It really runs about 8 treatments to really get them back together. So I really treat the problems from the car accident, and then treat other problems that has created that, and then I also give them homework to do. So it's very, very good for car accidents to really get those muscles back going.
Would you be able to give us some specific examples of auto accidents, of what some things that might happen that you may be able to help?
One of the things that I actually run into quite often is people turning their heads when they get hit, like rear-ended. If they turn their head and they get rear-ended, I've noticed that quite often it takes certain things like the hyoid bone. The muscles will tighten up on one side and they'll actually shift some of the structure, the bony structure. And I'm not a chiropractor, so I don't work on the bones, but I find that when that happens, they get all kinds of things going on, difficulty swallowing, ringing in their ears, little sounds. And so over the years that I've learned, well, you have the contra-coup from the car accident, so anything that gets projected forward has to come back, and it goes forward and back till it stops. And that each time that just tightens up the ligaments, or it can overstretch them. And so I have learned some of these little fine-tooth things, the muscles that could be wrapped around the ear, or wrapped around the throat, or causing going around the vagal nerve. I've learned to free up those and put them back in balance, and so people have come in having troubles walking a straight line, or having the ringing in their ears that has just gone away, and they can't believe the difference in that.
I understand that you are nationally certified as an instructor. As a matter of fact, I know different ones have come to your class. I know you've had a doctor, you've had chiropractors, you've had physical therapists and other massage therapists, and even just lay people that have been able to take your class. How have they benefited from taking your class?
Well, this is a technique that I learned, and it's something that not a lot of people, it's not a technique that is widely distributed. There's just a handful of people that I know of that know how to do this technique from my teacher. And I haven't had anybody that's taken the class that's been disappointed in taking the class. Everybody that's taken the class, when I taught this class in Baltimore for some massage therapists, and they were very impressed and happy. The chiropractor, he changed his practice after that and incorporated this, changed his whole practice around to incorporate this technique. So this technique has really let people realize when I teach this technique, I really help people understand fulcrums and levers, and how some muscles can be tight and some can be too loose, and how to really change that structure and get it all back into balance from the feet up to the head. And so everybody has walked away feeling just perfect. Well, if the muscle's too tight, I don't want to, if the muscle's too loose, I don't want to loosen it. I didn't grasp that whole concept. And so when my teacher taught me, that was a big part of, you don't want to loosen a muscle that's already too loose, because you'll create a worse issue. So that's addressed, and pretty much when anybody gets done with a beginner's class, they can go out and start helping people. They don't have to take the advanced class before they can start helping people, because they learn so much in that 2-day class. It's a 2-day, full 16-hour class. They walk away having a new skill that they can start using.
And I know part of that class too is you start from the feet, you work all the way up to the head. You're basically working with about 186 different muscles, and in that process the technique of doing the spindle cell that releases the muscle, and the opposite of that spindle cell technique tightens muscles. So basically you're just going ahead and balancing everything out, and at the same time you're releasing the fascia. And why is that fascia being released, and why is that also beneficial?
Well, the fascia really wraps around and attaches to everything. So like if you took an orange, you have the orange of an orange, and you peel that orange and you left the white outer skin on, that's its fascia. But if you're peeling an orange and you stuck your thumb through it, all that juice just drips down your hand, and you know, it makes a mess. So that every animal, every person, everything has a protective sheath around it. And it doesn't break. It doesn't just say it's going to go to here and it's going to go to there. It wraps itself around. So if a piece of fascia is tight on one side due to injury, like if you were in that car accident, it tightened up, it kind of tensed up, everything around it also is going to be pulled to that tighter side. So when we're doing this technique, we're learning, is it the muscle that's the issue? Is it the fascia that's the issue? Is it the ligament or the tendon that's the issue? but everything gets balanced through that isometric and that spindle cells or the Golgi tendons. And then when you work with that fascia, the very last step that we do in this class is we learn how to iron out that fascia. When that fascia gets tight, it feels like little crepe paper. It gets little bumps in it, and it can kind of go in different directions, and it's not supposed to go. And so you're kind of smoothing that out like you're taking an ironing pen to it. And it's very effective, especially with fibromyalgia people. It's very effective. This technique works very well with hammer toes, bunions, high arches, because again, those are all muscle issues that have pulled those bones to the tighter side, or they force them up into that arch. So those are definitely things I can take care of. Scoliosis is really caused by the muscles pulling the bones to the tighter side. And so I've had people come in that has been, their scoliosis had gotten so bad that the bones were kind of pushing out organs, and they were said, well, maybe you should have surgery to put a rod in your back. And what I've done is we've treated them by giving them isometrics to tighten the weaker side and to loosen the tighter side, and it pulls those bones back over where they belong just through the muscles, by the use of the muscles. For a really long time, it's a little bit more difficult because it's a muscle memory issue and you're really retraining the muscles. And if the person is very good at doing homework to be able to help that issue, they will definitely feel better.
And I know there was one young girl that came in because these backpacks that are so heavy to carry their books at school, and she really, for quite a while there, had her back out. There was some scoliosis issues, and within 2 treatments, you basically had her pretty balanced.
Well, I treated her once, and I taught her mother how to straighten the spine only by working on the muscles. So she loosened the muscles that were too tight, and she tightened the ones that were too loose through spindle cell and Golgi technique. And then I gave the daughter some isometrics to do for the weaker side, and they were very faithful at doing that. And so her spine went straight. And it did not work on the bones, but we stayed strictly on the muscles. And her mother was very impressed. So she came like 3 months later, 2 months, maybe it was 2 months later, and after them been working on it, and it was perfect. She's very happy. Those backpacks for school are definitely way too heavy.
And I know recently, not that long ago, you had a 19-year-old who had cerebral palsy and had that condition, going to have treatment for all of that period of time. And do you remember what happened after the first treatment?
Well, after the first treatment, she was able to help her mother take her shirt off and her bra off, her clothes off, and that was something she hadn't been able to do in the 19 years that, for her age. She's also changed the splints with her feet, and she had to have a different walker. And her back is straight. She's a lot stronger, and her parents are very happy.
So these are all wonderful different things that are happening. And then you have an advanced class, and I know you do a lot of details with the advanced class, and you're just so intuitive of figuring out what the issues are and the problems are.
So I offered the beginner's class to really help people get an overview so they can start helping people, and the advanced class is really a fine-tune. And I worked on making the advanced class because I had more and more people come to me with just these really minute, small problems. And I had to figure out, well, how do I work with those? So the advanced class, you learn about hammer toes, bunions, high arches, curled toes, plantar fasciitis, tendonitis, carpal tunnel, rotator cuff injuries, frozen shoulder, frozen hip, veneers, ringing in the ears, TMJ, scoliosis. It goes through the whole gamut. So you kind of learn that in the first class, oh, I could take this to a different level, but I was a little slow. It took me a long time to kind of grasp this concept. And so once I grasped it and I started having people come in and really tried to have to figure it out. So I took the guesswork out of it. So I'm teaching that second class, well, what do you do if this and this and this happens? And what do you do if your ears aren't level? How do you know which muscle it is to fix that? Or what if they start having vertigo and they've never had vertigo before? What muscles could be causing that? So I've taken that to that second step. It's a 3-day class. This last class I had, Ashley asked for it to be a 4th day class, and so it was I'm also working on another class to teach certain isometrics to help for the homework that I give out to the clients so that I can teach that. So in the future, I'll be offering that other class too.
So this is something that sounds really exciting for people to be able to take your class and how they can help others, as you have for over a decade now of helping different conditions. Jill, thank you so much for the interview. We certainly appreciate that information. And by all means, if anyone wants to look at the testimonies, whether that's for her class or testimonies of people who have written about her, by all means take a look at that and give us a call if you need some help. Heidi, thank you for joining us at Isometric Muscle and Body Balancing. I just have a few questions for you, and you've been in an accident.
Yes, I was in a car accident about 8 months ago.
Any particular challenge that you had after the accident?
Actually, quite a few. The process has been really frustrating for me, to be honest with you. It's been a tough time. I've been through physical therapy and massage therapy and in and out of the doctors, and nobody has seemed to been able to give me a really clear answer as to really what's going on or a solution to it all. So it's been a tough thing.
So that can definitely be very challenging.
Absolutely.
Could you tell me a little bit about your background?
Sure. Well, prior to the accident, I didn't have any health problems at all. You know, I keep pretty busy with work, and I'm a full-time student as well, and pretty active in my family life. So after the accident happened, a lot of those things had to change as to my activity level and even how I interact with the little ones in my life and picking them up or things like that. Everything just changed, and it's been a tough transition. So.
Okay.
So Heidi, can you tell us specifically about the injury?
Sure. Well, I have a lower back injury, and they've kind of said that it's a muscular issue. I've had x-rays and things like that, but they haven't been able to give me a whole lot of answers otherwise. They've handled it with medications, muscle relaxers, pain medications, and just even little exercises and things like that. None of that has given me the relief at all. It's helped here and there, but it hasn't been the answer.
Okay, so how did you learn about Jill?
Well, I learned about Jill from my massage therapist, and she said, you know, let's give this a try. Maybe this will be the missing piece of the puzzle that's we've been trying to figure this thing out. So came in through that way.
Well, you know, that's pretty impressive that another massage therapist is referring to a medical massage therapist. Why would you do that?
Well, I think she really just saw that the struggle that I was having, and I know that she's also known others who have had good results through Jill's work as well.
Can you tell me about your first treatment?
Sure. After the first treatment, initially coming in, I was very skeptical, I'll be honest with you. I feel like I've been having the runaround and been in quite a bit of pain for a long while now. And after the first treatment, I felt the best that I've felt in a really long time. I was impressed and I was encouraged. I was also just really impressed by the way Jill handles herself and the way she takes time to really figure out what's going on with you and really cares about every area in your life that may be impacting the way you're feeling.
Okay, excellent. Now, would you recommend, if the others have been in an accident, do you think that Jill would be able to help them?
Absolutely. I would say give it a try. I mean, if you've done 100 different things and seen physical therapists and massage therapists or whatever you've seen, it's worth giving Jill a try and seeing if she can help you out too.
Well, Heidi, thank you very much for coming in and sharing that testimony, we hope that others too, if they can look further on the testimonies on the website, we certainly would appreciate that, and by all means, give us a call for an appointment.
Absolutely.
Some of the stuff they told me, I was like, does it really work that good? So, but that's how I found out about Jill.
So were you impressed with the technique when you came?
I was actually very impressed. The first night that I came in to see her, she was actually teaching a class, and so I kind of was the guinea pig, but when I walked in, I was not exaggerating. I was all twisted up like this, and her student saw that. And she worked on me and was teaching her class, and then when it came time to get up, I stood up off the table and I could actually stand up straight, which I did not expect to happen. I mean, you know, like I said, my sister and my mom said, yeah, it works great, but then that's where I saw for myself that, yeah, this is definitely effective.
So you really saw a structural change take place.
Yeah, I did, because again, you know, I went from this C shape where I was all twisted up to being able to stand up straight. When I walked out, you know, everyone could see the difference from when I got there and when she got done with me and I left.
So did this inspire you to learn more about it?
Yes, actually it worked so good I decided I need to learn this for myself, because I work with fighters, or I help train mixed martial arts fighters, cage fighters, and I just thought it'd be a good thing for, you know, a coach to be on hand that could actually help rehab these guys, you know, and maybe also point out weaknesses in the other opponents. He's weak there, go for that area. But yeah, definitely was impressed enough to learn more about it, for sure.
So would you recommend others to learn this?
Absolutely. Anyone who could possibly get their hands on this training, do it. Because it's probably going to become more popular. There's going to be more people wanting to learn this as it gets more mainstream, I would think. So, yeah, now is the time to do it.
Kelly, thank you so much for your testimony. We do
Absolutely.
appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Hi Brenda, thank you for being with us at Isometric Muscle and Body Balancing. Brenda, we appreciate you being here. Could you tell us a little bit about your background?
Well, I could. I've been a licensed massage therapist for 22 years and practicing here in Colorado Springs with my husband, Dean, and we own Stress Control Massage. We're located downtown. We have had the privilege of serving hundreds, probably maybe thousands of clients over the years and treating them with massage therapy for various injuries and muscle conditions. And it's been great.
Well, you know, I really value and appreciate that you've been very generous in sending people to us, and we certainly appreciate that. Our question is, why would you send somebody to Jill?
Well, it's our privilege, really, and because we do love our clients and we've become, well, more than attached to them, but we're very interested in their well-being, and there have been situations that we've not felt we could help them enough, not as much as they could have helped. And it's taken a long time in finding someone who does what Jill does, because she has a unique treatment in the isometric muscle and body balancing that she does. And as she says, it's more of a rehabilitation type of treatment. So even though we might have learned some of those things in our massage training, we did, PNF stretching is what it was called at that time, we did not have a full body approach and didn't have the follow-up treatment that clients need to. Just didn't have, we're not strong in that area, in those tools. And she, though, on the other hand, is just marvelous, you know, the help she gives.
So it sounds like that you really enjoy this technique, and now you're taking the class. What do you think about the class?
Well, it's been wonderful. We're just in day one and had a great day of learning today. It is a remarkable technique. As I was saying to you, Fred, it's the brain and the nervous system is a very complex system, but yet we have a fairly simple, direct approach to heal and to help someone get better. And it's very learnable, and practice, 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 as the teacher would say. But it's very encouraging to know that we don't need to go to school for 8 more years, you know, to learn to help people on a whole new level. So it's pretty exciting.
So this is something that they can learn relatively quickly. There's 2 classes. There's a regular class at 16, continued education, an advanced class of another 24-hour of continued education. Would you recommend this for other massage therapists or other professionals to take this as a class?
Absolutely, and I have recommended it, and I'm hoping to, my husband and my son and I are here today, but I hope to see others in our profession get here too, and hopefully chiropractors and as well as massage therapists. There's a lot of people that would benefit. People who are in exercise therapy would really benefit. So we do know some great people I think would benefit from this class.
Now you had reason to come to Jill yourself specifically because of a shoulder injury.
I did.
Could you tell us about that?
I did. I've had some shoulder injuries, some repetitive and some other type of injuries over the years, and I have been able to heal from them through the exercise plan I do, and massage therapy and chiropractic, and they have always been helpful. But this one, I should say, our daughter got married last year, and I just ignored everything that didn't have to be absolutely done in the beginning, and so it really let it get bad. I was in crisis, and I knew that I needed some type of more in the area of rehabilitation for my shoulder. And as we talked about the circuit breaker, my brain had just shut off. I mean, I would continue to go back to the old pattern of the injury. I'd pull out of it for a while and I would go back. And it was very discouraging at the time. But I happened to be in Dr. Kuchera's clinic for another reason, and I saw Jill's information. When I read about her shoulder injury, that really got my attention. Because I thought she's not, I'm hurt not nearly as badly as she was, but she's, she's remarkably better, and she's helping other people, and I just had to find out. I'm so glad I did.
Did it take very long for her to help you?
No, well, I had help the first day, and I did have some treatment after that too, and then she sends you home with homework, and I always tell the people I recommend to Jill, you must do your homework to get the full value of the treatment, because she really helps you in that way. It's not a totally dependent therapy. You have some control over your own healing and recovery. Most people really do want that, I think. So, yeah, it's good. Much better. I have just a little bit of residual that if I do my stretches and exercises, I'm better.
Brenda, thank you so much for joining us with Isometric Muscle and Body Balancing. We really do appreciate all that you've done too in our behalf. And just to mention too, on our website, if you go to the first testimony, that is Jill's testimony on that, to just give you an idea of what she'd been through also. And if it can help an injury like that, how many different injuries can it really help?
That's right. It's just amazing. Well, it's a privilege, and we're blessed too. So thank you, Fred. We love your family.
Thank you, Brenda.
We're a beginner class, intermediate class, in order to help my family, different ones having various problems. And with that class alone, not being a massage therapist, having any training in that type of field, I was able to learn hands-on and be able to do a full treatment that helped pretty much everybody that had the problem. With diabetes, my mother-in-law, within the first treatment, she was able to feel her leg again, get rid of the neuropathy. In the second one, she was able to move her toes and get back to normal. So that really spurred me on to want to do more than just the basic school. So I came back for the second class, and that's really been eye-opening with all the extra techniques I can use to fix other problems. I really enjoy it. I think it's worth the time. So when it comes to, if you're thinking about this class, you're not a massage therapist, don't have any training, I think no matter who you are, it's well worth it. I would recommend that you take it, because you're going to have skills that you'll be able to keep for the rest of your life to help other people.
As a registered massage therapist in Colorado, I have taught 15 of the 20 years I've been in practice. Isometric muscle and body balancing is the best investment of the many modalities in my toolkit. The open-ended concept allows for infinite ways to customize treatment application.
I'm a registered massage therapist in Colorado, and I have been practicing for 9 years. My client base includes those with fibromyalgia, chronic pain, auto and work-related injuries, along with a variety of others. I work on both young and old alike. After learning the basics in the first course of Isometric Muscle and Body Balancing, I was able to apply that knowledge immediately in my practice with phenomenal results. In particular, one client with drop foot who had to wear a brace on that foot no longer needs his brace. We still have a long way to go, but both he and I are pleased with his progress. In taking the advanced course, I can see how the possibilities are endless. I can not only help my clients more, I can teach them how to better participate in their healing process. I highly recommend these courses. Jill's knowledge is never ending.